Folks, what just went down in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case against Donald Trump is quite extraordinary. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Donald Trump's lawyers begged Judge Engoron to postpone Donald Trump's testimony, which is expected to take place on December 11th, until after the appellate division and the Court of Appeals issues a final ruling on the gag order imposed on Donald Trump and Trump's lawyers starting on October 3rd, reinforced on October 20th and October 25th. This follows the appellate division in New York reinstating the gag order. You'll recall that Donald Trump had filed an emergency Article 78 lawsuit against Judge Engoron. An administrative stay by one of the appellate justices temporarily paused the gag order that was imposed on Donald Trump and Trump's lawyers, but then the full appellate division panel reimposed the gag order on Donald Trump. Yesterday, we reported that Donald Trump then sought emergency review to New York's highest court, which confusingly is called the Court of Appeals. The lower trial court is called the Supreme Court. The intermediary court is called the appellate division. In order to get that emergency review to the highest court, the Court of Appeals, you still have to go through the appellate division to allow you to bypass them through a full panel briefing. They had already reinstated the gag order. They denied Donald Trump's request to go right to the Court of Appeals. They set full briefing before the appellate division panel to take place on December 11th, and then or soon thereafter, right around December 11th, and then January 11th, right around when the trial is set to end anyway, before Judge Engoron. And so, as we did a video here yesterday on the MeidasTouch Network, we were saying Donald Trump desperately wanted to remove that gag order because he wanted to come into court on his testimony, on his expected day of testimony on December 11th, and attack Judge Engoron, attack the principal law clerk particularly, because the gag order just relates to the principal law clerk, and Trump was going to try to induce a mistrial through his conduct. And so with the gag order being imposed, as I said in the other video I did, which dropped actually earlier in the morning, Donald Trump was actually going to be terrified to testify. So as the proceedings unfolded, Donald Trump's lawyer, Christopher Kise, stands up, makes and this is from Adam Klasfeld, who was in the court, made a lengthy request to postpone the former president's testimony until the appeals court can rule on the gag order, which they just reimposed. The judge turns to the New York Attorney General lawyer and says, "Plaintiff, what say you?" The New York Attorney General's office goes, "Absolutely not." Judge Engoron responds, "Absolutely not. No way. No how. Mr. Kise, this is a non-starter. Sit down, Mr. Kise." Then Justice Engoron told Kise, "At least you tried, Mr. Kise." And after a slight pause, Judge Engoron added, "And I want you to know, Mr. Kise, I gave it deep thought as well." I don't know, Donald Trump, maybe you shouldn't attack the judge, attack the judge's wife, attack the judge's son, make up that the judge's wife has a Twitter account, which she does not, attack her, attack the principal law clerk, and have all of these death threats directed at the judge and the judge's family, and then beg the judge, as Donald Trump would say, beg the judge like a dog. Then beg the judge to help you out, you narcissistic sociopath. Beg the judge to say, actually, Donald Trump wants to wait until the appellate division hears full briefing, which isn't going to take place until mid-January, and then to have an appeal to the highest New York court, the Court of Appeal, and then Donald Trump will be willing to grace everybody with his presence to testify again. Last time Donald Trump testified, he almost got kicked out. And so one of the things, too, which I found to be interesting, and I reflected upon this before the news that broke today, is I said, I don't think Donald Trump's going to go there and testify again. I think Donald Trump may be too cowardly to show up. Or at least I said, I think Donald Trump will try to do anything he can to avoid that testimony. We've just learned breaking news coming in right now as I'm recording this video as well. Eric Trump will not return for a second round of testimony, Adam Klasfeld reports, with the defense, Donald Trump's lawyers, Eric's lawyers, offering no explanation for the reversal why Eric won't be testifying. So as a result, the court will now be adjourned on Wednesday. No testimony from Eric when he was supposed to testify. These Trumps are running for the hill. When they try to attack the judge, they try to attack the law clerk, the judge's wife, the judge's son. When that doesn't work, when those stochastic terroristic tactics don't work, they run for the hill. If you're a little confused and you go, I thought Donald Trump and Eric already testified. Ben, what in the world are you talking about? They testified because they were compelled to in the New York Attorney General's case in chief. So the plaintiff, the New York Attorney General, suing Donald Trump, Eric, Don Jr., the Trump Organization, the trust for civil fraud. They compelled Donald Trump, Don Jr., and Eric to testify under subpoena powers attendant to the proceeding. So Trump testified there, Eric testified there. One of the things I reflected upon there is, all right, Eric, all right, tough guy, all right, Donald Trump, why wouldn't you have your own lawyers do a redirect examination of you after the plaintiffs, the New York Attorney General office asks you all of these questions? Why wouldn't you then have your own lawyers ask you to clarify or clean things up or ask you questions? Now, it would have to be within the scope of the cross-examination. Those are the rules. But you could have probably worked out a deal, Trump's lawyers and the New York Attorney General's lawyers. I do this all the time in my cases and trials. You would just basically say, look, we don't want to call the witness back multiple times. So why don't we all agree that we'll call our witness on direct examination. You could take the witness on cross. They just have to show up once. They don't have to come back. That's what would normally happen in a case like this. You work with your opposing counsel. They show up once, and then you kind of work out a deal like that. Well, that didn't happen. So Trump had to appear because the New York Attorney General called him and Eric as well. And then Trump was almost kicked out of court during that testimony. So then we were told that now in the defense case, because they've been putting on their case over the past few weeks, that they were going to call Eric and they were going to call Donald Trump again. Don Jr., remember, was the first witness who they called, who did like some weird PowerPoint presentation and like further incriminated the Trump Organization. So Don Jr. was called first. I was surprised that Eric was going to show up. I said, I don't think Eric's going to testify again. Eric, now we learned, is not showing up. And just think about that. If you are innocent, if you're so powerful, why wouldn't you want to have direct examination to tell your side of the story? So Eric's out, and Donald Trump and his lawyers are now begging the judge to postpone Trump's testimony until the appellate court and then the Court of Appeals makes final rulings to not allow or to try to block the gag order so that Donald Trump can so that Donald Trump can threaten the judge. You think Judge Engoron's going to say, you know what? I like to be threatened here by Donald Trump, so let me wait to the appellate division and the Court of Appeals rules on the gag order and maybe removes it so that you can threaten me. No, this gag order's been found to be appropriate by the appellate division, and now it's going through its process. It is in effect. Donald Trump, testify. Show up or shut up. And that's where we're at right now. By the way, let me just show you the video I did yesterday. We dropped the video earlier in the morning before this news, so you can see the prediction that we made here on the MeidasTouch Network. Play the clip. So this gag order is going to remain in effect while Donald Trump shows up and testifies, if indeed Donald Trump is going to show up on December 11th, 2023. I'm still skeptical if Donald Trump's actually going to show up again. He almost got kicked out the first time, which I suspected was going to happen. If he does show up, I believe it's just going to be to try to bait Judge Engoron into doing something that Trump could try to use against Judge Engoron, but we'll see about that. So we will keep you posted if Donald Trump ends up testifying or not. I still think that Donald Trump is probably not going to show up, but you see how he's trying to wiggle out of it. Eric's out. We'll keep you posted as we learn more here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers here on the MeidasTouch Network. And check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.